Hello and welcome to CR Make. This week's project's going to be a Halloween mask. I was thinking kind of like an anglerfish or Venom when I was making it, so if either of those are going to be your Halloween costume this year, this is a mask that you can wear with that costume. It's a super simple design. It's basically a pleated mask with some teeth sewn into it, so let's get started. As a pattern, I used this regular disposable pleated mask and just measured out the length and width of it. And then I added a little bit to the length and width of it because I want the pleats to extend over. And I also have to account for attaching those strings on the sides. So I ended up with an 8x9 square, and I'm cutting out 2 of this. And then I'm going to sew both the bottom and the top, and then flip it inside out like I'm doing right here. And then we'll just sew that open edge closed and then iron it flat and iron in the pleats. The way I'm doing that is I just found the center line and then I'm bringing the bottom and the top up into close to the center line and just ironing it down. With that done, I'm also going to stick in a little wire in the nose, so I just have a pipe cleaner right here, and I'm just going to slide it in, find the middle ground, and then sew around that wire piece. There you can see the stitches done, the wires works and all of that. So now I'm just going to sew down the pleats on either side of this mask. There you can see the pleat is sewn on both sides. So now I'm going to grab a little rectangle and I'm going to turn this into the part that you put the elastic through. So I'm going to sew down one side onto the pleat on the back, and then I'm going to wrap that around and sew down the front of it, hiding that raw edge. And so this will create a little tube on the side of it for me to string whatever my elastic or ribbon or whatever I want to attach this to my face with through. Here's what it looks like thus far, so now we just string that elastic through. Alright, now the basis of our mask is done, so I'm going to try it on. Here's what it looks like. You can see I have some space there, even though it fully covers my face. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stick some teeth in there. To make these teeth, I'm going to be using some moldable polyplastic, and so these are just little tiny beads. I bought it off Amazon. All you do is grab some hot water, pour as many beads as you want in your hot water. They will turn clear and then they will be moldable. So I'm just using a pair of chopsticks to pull out the plastic so that I don't shove my fingers into the hot water. And I'm just portioning out a little piece to roll and turn into a thin tooth-like shape. I'm setting these aside onto this cardboard just in case I wasn't sure if they'd stick to the counter or not. And I'm letting them cool. So as they cool, they will turn from clear back to the white color that they were originally. Now that I have the basic shape done, I'm going to go back with a large needle and I'm going to make some holes in the bottoms of my teeth so that I can hand stitch them to my mask. So what I'm doing right here is I'm rewarming the bottoms of them till they're fully clear, and then I'm going to let them cool just a little bit until they're like slightly opaque, and then I'm going to use that large needle and stick it through so that I get a nice hole. I'm not using a regular needle here, I'm using a large one so that the regular needle will actually pass through easier. Just to note, I put 2 holes on the teeth that will be on the bottom of the mask and sticking up just because of the weight might be a little bit too heavy, and so I wanted some extra security there. So now all that's left to do is to hand stitch them in. Here I've hand stitched the top ones to it, and you can see I stitched it onto the underside of that pleat fold. That way they stick downwards and you don't see that stitch I'm doing. So again, I just grabbed a regular sewing needle with some black thread and I'm hand stitching the teeth in. Make sure to pay attention to the direction the tooth is going as you're stitching it in because I want it to point and curve upward. And super speed, let's get this done. Here we go. That's what our mask looks like. I suppose I could have put red on the inside, but it might have looked too hokey like that. Let's try it on. Honestly, that looks pretty cool. The teeth are a little long on the top, but I can just shorten them. But honestly, I look really demon-esque. I think this mask looks even cooler from the side because you can see the bit of 3-dimensional curve to the teeth to it. Sure, the teeth are a little loose, but that's what happens when you hand stitch them in as opposed to gluing it. Overall, I think this mask is freaking awesome. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hit that like button. Oh, comment what you think this mask could be used for except for Venom or anglerfish. Share this video with someone who you think could use it on Halloween. And please subscribe because I post every Friday after 3. Thank you for watching.